the body wall of cockroach. The body wall. The body wall of cockroach include cuticle. The outermost layer of the body wall is cuticle. Cuticle is including three portions of the cuticle. We are upper epicuticle, middle exocuticle, inner endocuticle, which they have their own properties. The outer thin waxy cuticular layer is called as epicuticle. Then the middle, the tough pigmented chitin is modified into sclerotin. That the condensation, polymerization of the chitin leads to the formation of sclerotin, we can say. That tough pigmented chitin, we say that is going to form the sclerotin here. And the endocuticle, the inner, much thicker, made of soft layers of chitin, we say endocuticle. So see the properties here. Epicuticle is outer, thin, waxy. Exocuticle is the hardest portion. We use it to term always scleroid. That scleroid is the hardest material I said over. So that hardness due to this particular exocuticle, you have to understand that hardness because of exocuticle, because it is a tough pigmented chitin, which chitin is even polymerized. Polymerized chitin, we say sclerotin. So this is the reason for the rigidity and hardness of the scleroid. So the three layers, epicuticle, exocuticle, then endocuticle. Finally, you'll find the epidermis. Epidermis lies below the cuticle, we can see. That's why it is called hypodermis. In most of the animals, you don't find these three layers actually. Like earthworm, if you take, cuticle is very small, thin layer. But in cockroach, cuticle is having the thicker epi, exo, and endo. Three layers are present here. And below that, you will find the epidermis. That's why we say far below it is present. That's why we say hypodermis. Epidermis of the cockroach is also called hypodermis. Lies below the cuticle, a single layer of columnar cells which rest on the basement membrane and that secretes the new cuticle after molting. Molting is a phenomenon of cockroach for growth. That means always that will shed off that particular outer cuticular layer and form the new layer. Nearly 13 times it will go for molting to become adult. In the main process, this epidermis is responsible for the removal of cuticular layer and for the formation of new cuticular layer also. Okay, so let's come with the cuticle. Here the cuticle functions to protect the delicate internal organs like our endoskeleton. Our endoskeleton is bony, isn't it? So that hard material, we say what is bone means a hard material. Similarly, cockroach not having endoskeleton, cockroach is having exoskeleton. Outer cover is strong. So how outer cover is strong? Because of cuticle. Which cuticle? Particularly when you want to say exocuticle. Okay, so it prevents the loss of water. Why cockroach is having exocuticle? Cockroach is very much careful about absorb the water. They use, they prevent all the methods they follow here to prevent the loss of water. Throughout the chapter, we are going to watch that particular issues. What are the events cockroach performed to prevent the loss of water from the body? That to prevent the loss of water by evaporation by having a thin waxy coat on outside, as we are seeing, epicuticle is what we said about the epicuticle, thin, outer, thin, waxy. Why waxy? That is to prevent water loss. Okay. There are so many other issues are coming for the cockroach, how it protects themselves to prevent the loss of water from the body. So then these cuticle, generally endoskeleton provides surface for the attachment. If you say our bones are having in the body, our muscles, skeletal muscles we say, they attach to the bones only. Then there is no endoskeleton for cockroach. So that's why this particular exoskeleton itself makes the attachment for the muscles. And we said scleroid plates. I think you got the meaning of scleroid plates at present now. What is scleroid plate? The hard cuticular cover of the body of cockroach is called as scleroid plate. Who is responsible for the rigidity of the scleroid plate? Out of the three layers of cuticle, epi, exo, and endo, exocuticle is responsible for that. Okay. So let me say once again, as I said to you earlier, that each segment is having 4 plates. A typical segment of the cockroach contains 4 plates on the body, like upper plate, tergum, dorsal plate we say. then lower plate, ventral plate, sternum, and lateral pleura. That means if there are three segments in the thorax, tergum, tergum, tergum on dorsal side, sternum, sternum, sternum on the ventral side. So that is very important for us here to understand this particular phenomena. That means in cockroach thorax, three terga are present, three sterna are present, six pleura are present. Got my point here? And what are scleroids? Scleroids are the hardest plates. Then which particular layer of the cuticle is responsible for their hardness? Exocuticle. These things are to be remembered over. And that what is the function of pleura? Pleura connects the tergum with sternum. Okay. So these are the tergal plates. If you remember, if you say this is the dorsal side, what do you say? All these pink boxes are tergal plates. So one tergal plate is connected to the another tergal plate by a flexible membrane called arthroidal membrane. Most happening question in entrance examinations. What is arthroidal membrane? Tergum, tergum, tergum. We said on a dorsal side. Sternum, sternum, sternum. We said on ventral side. So the dorsal side, that particular terga are connected by a flexible membrane, arthroidal membrane. What is the use of arthroidal membrane? Imagine if you wear an iron shield all over the body, can you bend? Can you move? No. So that the flexibility problem will come to the body, isn't it? When I said all the scleroid plates are harder. So when all the scleroid plates are arranged closely here in the cockroach body, cockroach can't, the flexibility problems will come to the cockroach, isn't it? So that's why there is a gap between the plates of cockroach. That means between the terga, between the sterna. So these particular plates are connected by arthroidal membrane. Arthroidal membrane is also cuticle, but they lack one cuticular layer. Which layer they lack? They lack exocuticle. But we said the rigidity because of exocuticle. So arthroidal membrane is not having exocuticle. That means it is having only epicuticle and endocuticle. Only epicuticle and endocuticle are present. That's why it is comparatively flexible. That means if it is terga, all the terga are connected by arthroidal membrane. If these are sterna, all the sterna in between are connected by arthroidal membrane. So what we are saying here, if all these are the tergal plates, these tergal plates are interconnected by arthroidal membrane. If all these are the sternal plates, we say that these sternal plates are connected by arthroidal membrane. So that you need to remember and understand like this. Once again, I repeat, dorsal scleroid plate is called tergum. Ventral scleroid plate is called sternum. Dorsal scleroid plate is called tergum. Ventral scleroid plate are called sternum. Lateral scleroid plates are called pleura. Then pleura, what is the function of pleura? Connecting dorsal plate to the ventral plate, tergum to the sternum. Now what I am saying about arthroidal membrane, that terga in the serous and dorsal side, sterna in the serous and ventral side are connected each other. Tergal plates to the tergal plate are connected by arthroidal membrane. Okay. So these arthroidal membrane, which is flexible. Why it is flexible? It lacks exocuticle. We said it lacks exocuticle. So these are the events of body wall. I do remember you the body wall again. This is the body wall. Outermost layer is cuticle. But cuticle is containing three more layers: epicuticle, exocuticle, endocuticle. Outer thin waxy layer is called as epicuticle. The tough, the pigmented chitinous layer, polymerized chitin we said. That means the chitinous layer is getting polymerized to make the hardest substance called sclerotin. Where do you find the sclerotin? On exocuticle. Then below the exocuticle, we'll see endocuticle is present. Epicuticle, exocuticle, then endocuticle. So below this particular cuticular layer, you can see epidermis. Far lower it is. That's why what do you say this as? Epidermis is also called hypodermis, which lies below the cuticle, the single layer of columnar cells here. Then the basement membrane. Then the basement membrane which lies over here. Okay, so that's it. Then I said about the scleroid plates. We do repeat these scleroid plates every day because wherever we go, that we require this particular scleroid plates. As we discussed more times in thorax, and in future also we need to discuss this. So that's why remembering this is very important. Dorsal scleroid plate is called tergum, ventral scleroid plate is called sternum, lateral plates are called pleura. Okay, so some issues about the body cavity, as we have seen the body wall now, body wall, and then after now we are moving into the body cavity. The body cavity of cockroach, also called perivisceral cavity, it's not true body cavity. We have a separate chapter for who is true body cavity, who is false body cavity. Coelom, pseudocoelom, and shadocoelom. We have separate chapter. Those people who attended from the beginning, they may know that I explained that particular issues earlier in the classes. Okay, no problem. We'll go with that particular chapter again here. Body cavity is not a true coelom, because to say a particular body cavity as a true coelom, they should be lined with the peritoneal layers. There is no peritoneum, that's why we say the body cavity of cockroach cannot be a true coelom. And body cavity of cockroach is called hemocoel. What is hemocoel? Blood-filled body cavity, we say hemocoel. Blood-filled body cavity is considered as hemocoel. Blood of cockroach is called hemolymph. Why? Because it is white in color. Because there is no hemoglobin in the blood. We'll discuss. So the true coelom, shadocoelom, particularly we say, as I said to you, these kind of words will come in separate chapter. We have that coelom. Then the true coelom or shadocoelom or secondary body cavity or peritoneum lined cavity is restricted only around the reproductive organs. The remaining body cavity of cockroaches cannot be considered as true coelom. You can't say it as shadocoelom. You can't say it as secondary body cavity. These particular issues you'll get more clarity after all we are completing that particular coelom chapter only. Just remember this particular issue. We'll continue. We'll go with coelom and there we'll discuss more. So in the body cavity, that what do you say? The body cavity of cockroach, hemocoel. In the hemocoel, some special items are present here. We say they are fat bodies. Fat bodies which are also called corpora adiposa. We don't have technical name in NCERT, but fat bodies are present here. So they are present in the hemocoel. They are many in number. They are large size. They contain many lobules similar to liver of our vertebrate. These fat bodies, corpora adiposa, are similar to the liver of our vertebrates. Because their function here, you see the fat bodies are having 4 types of cells: trophocytes, mycetocytes, enocytes, urate cells. The trophocytes of the fat bodies helpful to store the food material. Mycetocytes contain symbiotic bacteria which synthesize amino acids. Enocytes are going to synthesize the fats and storage of lipids. Urate cells are going to store the uric acid. Okay, so trophocyte store food. Mycetocyte contain symbiotic bacteria. Enocyte synthesize and store lipids. Urate cells are going excuse me. Urate cells are going to store uric acid. Storage of uric acid is a remarkable issue to remember. Storage of uric acid in urate cells is happen for lifetime. One of the water conservation technique, as I said to you, cockroach won't leave single drop of water. That, as I said, Cuticle doesn't allow the loss of water. So excretory waste materials, when you are eliminating from the body, you may use little bit of water. Cockroach even don't like that issue also. That's why urate cells are going to store uric acid as possible as, not total we are saying, as possible as they store. Okay, so this is a story of the body wall and body cavity. Remember the words from the body cavity of cockroach is called hemocoel. Blood in the cockroach body cavity is said to be hemolymph. It's not true coelom because it is not lined with peritoneal layer. What is peritoneum? Question will be raised. You are first year student. Peritoneum. That is what I am saying. We'll discuss that in coelom chapter. We have separate chapter for that. So the body cavity of cockroach is called hemocoel. Why it is called hemocoel? Blood-filled body cavity. Ours is not like that, isn't it? We have our blood flow in our blood vessels, but here the blood flow in the body cavity. You see the flow of blood in the body cavity. So that's why the blood-filled body cavity is called as hemocoel. One more speciality, the blood of cockroach is called hemolymph. Why? Because the blood is white in color. And to remember the fat bodies in the body cavity, the fat body that the cells in the fat bodies. Fat bodies are technically named as corpora adiposa. You don't find this word in NCRT, but you'll find in some options that because on the name of corpora, so many issues are there. Corpora allata, corpus callosum, corpora bigemina, corpora quadrigemina, corpus luteum, various areas of the human or various areas of the other animals. This corpus word is so famous. So, what is at least at present, just this is enough for us. What is corpora adiposa? Fat body of cockroach. What is fat body? That is compared with the liver of vertebrate. What are the functions? They store food. They contain symbiotic bacteria. They synthesize and store the lipids, and they store uric acid. They individually do? Yeah, that means for storage of food, they are special cells called trophocytes. That symbiotic bacteria for synthesis of amino acid, mycetocytes are there to secrete the wax and to produce the wax or fat to store the lipids. Enocytes are there, and urate cells are going to store the uric acid. Urate cells are going to store uric acid. This is a specialty of body cavity of cockroach. Let's take more information about the body cavity. We entered in the body cavity. So when we entered in the body cavity, just take a look on the body cavity of cockroach here. We'll get a full idea on the body cavity. This is the body cavity. Here, body cavity of cockroach. See, there are compartments in the body cavity, isn't it? There are some compartments are present in the body cavity. We know dorsal scleroid plates are called terga. These are all a series of tergal plates. Ventral scleroid plates can be called as sterna. Ventral scleroid plates, sterna. As I said to you, it will be repeated again and again. So then this is the body cavity. So what I am saying, this body cavity is filled with blood. That's why we call this particular body cavity as hemocoel. Such body cavity is called as hemocoel. This hemocoel is now compartmentalized into three parts. We say because of what? Because of, see this dorsal diaphragm, ventral diaphragm. Diaphragm means a septum which separates the body cavity. Okay, like a wall in the room, a particular hall is separated by a wall which makes into rooms, isn't it? Likewise, the two walls are there. Diaphragm we say, septa we say. One is on dorsal side and one is on ventral side. Dorsal diaphragm, ventral diaphragm. We can say dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm. These dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm are separating the body cavity of cockroach into pericardial coelom, perivisceral coelom, perineural coelom. The names are given actually based upon the body parts which are located there. Like pericardial coelom. Cardial means heart, isn't it? The heart is situated in this particular cavity. That's why we say this is as pericardial coelom. We have another word to say, sinus, we say. Pericardial sinus, which include heart. Perivisceral sinus, which include alimentary canal. Perineural sinus or coelom, we say, that include the nerve cord. We'll find nerve cord here. That's why we say this particular cavity as perineural sinus. So this is a very important here. Even learning about the circulatory system also, this is going to play a vital role in this particular area. Okay, this is going to play a vital role. So the worksheet you need to take here, worksheet, that means the particular the things we explained, we learned, whatever they are present in this particular area, you people need to practice. Actually, the practice is very important here. People need to practice this particular. So that's why I'm giving the practice sheets also to you. The practice sheets. So I'm cutting this. Let's go to the board. Yes, we need to go through that particular worksheets here. So let me give that particular worksheets here. Let me go for this. This is tergal plates, sternal plates. So I am using diaphragms. Two diaphragms are there. What are the two diaphragms? Dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm. You need to label all this. Take a screenshot. Let me complete this first. Then what is this? Tergum. And what is this? Sternum. Sterna. Sterna plural. Terga plural. Tergum. Sternum are said to be singular. Okay. So what is this? Dorsal diaphragm. And this one ventral diaphragm. Okay. So that because of this particular two diaphragms, dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm, that body cavity of cockroach is divided into three portions, isn't it? What are they? Pericardial sinus, perivisceral sinus, and perineural sinus. Pericardial sinus, sinus or coelom, no matter. Sinuses means cavities. Pericardial, perivisceral, and perineural sinuses. Okay. So what do you see in the pericardial sinuses? That do you know the cockroach is having 13 chambered heart? I'm not drawing 13 chambers. Just I am drawing the sample here. The model diagram here, this kind of diagram is not at all available anywhere, just a hypothetical diagram. For theory of cockroach, we are representing with some diagrams. That's all. What is this? Heart. It contains heart. That's why we say this cavity is called pericardial sinus. This cavity is called pericardial sinus because pericardial coelom because it contains heart. Okay, so here in case of this particular area in perivisceral sinus, we can see the digestive system. Elementary canal is present. Rough diagram I am making here. So perivisceral sinus encloses elementary canal. It encloses elementary canal. Okay. So this is elementary canal. Gut you can use. So what do you see in the perineural sinus? Perineural sinus. In the perineural sinus, you can see nerve cord. The nerve cord is present here. The nerve cord with nerve ganglia. We'll discuss in the nervous system. But here, just you people need to understand their respective location. Okay, so just try to answer all these. What we learned today, it is very important. Like pericardial sinus, number 1, perivisceral sinus, sinus or coelom, you can use any of these words. Pericardial coelom, perivisceral coelom, and perineural coelom. Pericardial coelom include heart. Pericardial coelom include heart. Okay. So so let me see here. Okay. So pericardial coelom include heart. Perivisceral coelom include elementary canal. So just 5 and what is this 6 and 7? Dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm. Dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm. So how many left? How many left? Body parts left over. 8. Heart. So that's it. Terga and sterna also. 9. Sterna. 10. Terga. So draw this diagram or just take a screenshot of this particular diagram. You people need to answer all this here. What is number 1? Pericardial sinus. Number 2, perivisceral sinus. Number 3, perineural sinus. We are neural coelom. Then number 4, heart. 13-chambered heart. I didn't draw the full heart here, just to know that there is a heart there. Okay, so heart. 4. Number 5. What is number 5? Gut, alimentary canal. Number 6, dorsal diaphragm. Number 7, ventral diaphragm. Number 8, nerve cord. Number 9, where is number 9? Sterna. Number 10, sterna, dorsal scleroid plate, sterna. Number 9, sorry, number 10, terga. Number 9, sterna. The ventral scleroid plate, sterna, are number 9, and number 10 is going to be terga. So you need to practice here, because these things will come again and again. When you go to the digestive system, if you ask a question, where do you find alimentary canal? You can answer immediately. Perivisceral sinus is having alimentary canal. When you go to the cardiovascular system, so where do you see the heart? Heart is present in the pericardial sinus, which is present between the tergum and dorsal diaphragm, isn't it? Between the tergum and dorsal diaphragm. It is there between the tergum as well as dorsal diaphragm. Then where do you see this particular alimentary canal? Our answer is there. Where do you see this? We'll find this particular between the perivisceral and sinus, between the dorsal diaphragm and ventral diaphragm. So where do you see the nerve cord? Nervous system. When I ask a question to you, where do you see? This is between the ventral diaphragm as well as sternum. Okay. So the primary that recognition is very important. What I drawn? Terga plates and sternal plates. Okay. So then dorsal diaphragm, ventral diaphragm. Dorsal diaphragm, ventral diaphragm. So this is pericardial sinus, which encloses heart. This is perivisceral sinus, which encloses the gut, and this is perineural sinus, which encloses the nerve. This is the basic here actually. Okay, so we'll continue with the abdomen in the next class. Abdomen is the most complicated one. The must your attendance here that abdomen is a complicated one. We get more questions from there itself. So that's why be careful. We'll go exclusively for abdomen tomorrow in the classroom. Cockroach abdomen. We are completed head and thorax, and today body cavity. Okay, so we'll continue with the abdomen in the next class. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.